Kevin Sidebottom here, speaker, author, and trainer, and I go around and teach sales organizations and leadership teams how to build trust and influence with their customers to increase revenue and profits. Today, let's talk about the one question that I always get is, what document kicks off your sales process? Well, in a big business of sales and big organizations, often people sit there and go, well, when I get an RFI or a request for information or an RFQ or request for quote, that's my time to kick off the sales process. Unfortunately, if you're waiting to that point to actually start your sales process, you're going to fail. Because big purchasing organizations, that's their key role, is to be the defense of their team, to give out information only to get a quote so they can make everything a commodity. So they can actually find everything to be a commodity. That's what they're trained to do in supply chain, is make everything a commodity, because the only differentiating factor in a commodity is price. So if you want to be successful in your sales process, you need to be starting well in advance of an RFI or an RFQ. You need to be working with their mechanics. Now, what is a mechanic? Well, here's the deal. When I started off in sales, I started selling outdoor power equipment. So I was going around to the lawnmower dealers. Well, what did I find out? Well, the mechanics were the ones telling the actual landscapers which products to buy. They would tell them, well, this one fails here, this one fails there, this one does this one does that. And the customers were actually going, I'm going to listen to the mechanics. So what is it that you're going to do? Well, you need to go find those mechanics. If it's a big organization, you're engineering products, go talk to the engineers. Those are the people that you need to be engaging, because you need to help design a solution for them. They design the solution, and their supply chain is actually going out to get everything priced right so they can make money. And they are the ones that come out and say, okay, here's our target price, which when you get a good product or service, you usually are a little bit higher than your target price, just to let you know. But most organizations are set up to just do that. Make everything commodity and send in the simplest and cheapest price for their solution so they can make a product service for people. Well, I always position my stuff to be the best value. Best value doesn't necessarily mean that it's the highest price, and it doesn't mean that it's the lowest price. In fact, I'm typically not the lowest price whenever I go into an interaction. I want to be the best value. So I want to ask questions, lots and lots of questions. I want to understand what they're working on in the future. So I go talk to the mechanics. I want to know where they're at, where they want to go, what are some of the issues that they're seeing now, right? Because if we understand their situation, their issues, and their ramifications, well, if we have a solution that meets that, how much value do you think is there? A lot. So we need to make sure we're understanding that. So do your best to find those mechanics. Sit down with them. Understand what the issues are, what the ramifications are. And if your product or service actually meets that solution they need, great. Don't try to sell them something that's not going to work, like trying to fit a square peg in a round hole, and it's not going to work. Because if they're not successful with it, they're going to remember, they'll have that one-time buy, but they're not going to buy from you in the future. So when we're out there, be ahead of the RFI and the RFQs in your sales process. Go out there and prospect. Go find the mechanics. That's when you start your sales process. Go in there and start finding the opportunities. Now, some people say it's like hunting. You could think of it as hunting. I think of it as farming. You got to cultivate the ground, right? You got to till it all up. You got to get the good soil up there. Then you plant your seeds. Then you water, and then you fertilize. You pull some weeds, and then eventually you harvest. It takes time. There is no overnight successes in anything. It takes a long time to grow your influence. If you do it the right way, follow the right process, you'll be successful. Okay? Now, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. My contact information is below. Be glad to help you. If this video was helpful, hit like, share, subscribe, send it to somebody you think it might help. Be glad that it helps more people. Okay? See you next time.